a VoyMonk video voice vlog. This is a continuation, a little bit about my other life experiences from yesterday, and talking about ADHD and some of the things that I've had in way of experiences because of that. I talked about ADHD and the ability or lack thereof of sometimes focus. And one of the jobs that I had working for a video game store where we bought and sold video games and that kind of thing, one of the things that was very difficult for me to do was the ability to count, because at the end of the day, whatever was sold, whatever was purchased, we had to do inventory. And I'm telling you, 1, 2, 3, 4, I mean literally, like counting things as far as inventory to make sure that they're there. And of course you can do estimates and all that kind of stuff or whatever, but this particular company that I worked for, you needed to physically do that every single night. My problem was that by the time I got to 10, 20, or 30, or 40, I probably missed 1, 2, or a dozen. And I'm not saying that other people who don't have ADHD might not have experienced that, but that was a pretty consistent thing. And so sometimes, or I would say a lot of times, that affected, the way things happened at the end of the day, meaning if we're missing a video game that we're supposed to have, surprise, surprise, that means either it went out the door and someone didn't pay for it, or, maybe someone did something else, like, sold it under the table or whatever, because unfortunately those are the types of things that can happen. But it was never my intention. That was never something that I would do intentionally. But the problem is, in life, you can't always know people's intentions. You can't always know what happened. Sometimes when a person doesn't know, there's people will read things, whether it be correct or not correct, and that can put you in a bit of a pickle. And this says nothing about things like, being able to run a cash register or, some other things as well, being able to, count out the right or correct change. I mean, if it's not on a credit card, most of the time it's easy, if someone gives you $4.50 out of $10, you know what I'm saying? It's like, $5.50 is going to be coming back, but you don't always necessarily know. And when you have ADHD, you could be thinking about, when counting out change at the end of the night or doing inventory, sometimes obsessing about a bad customer or an interaction, or the fact that your rent has to be paid, or you're concerned about whether or not you're going to get out on time so that the bus that you have to take will get you to your connection so you get home on time or before they stop running. And these are the types of things that affect people as far as ADHD. As far as major depression and anxiety, those are things that have to do with, people have anxiety, people have depression or have a bad day, but it's different when it's, it's the rule rather than the exception. It's the thing that happens all the time. And like I said, people can chalk it up to a lot of different things. And the point that I'm making is that these are all life experiences that I had, not just only in, social, interactions, but also, in things that have to do with just living everyday life, like having a job and that kind of thing. And so, I don't know, maybe that is what framed and worked out, the way I would be, the way I am, meaning I can sit behind a microphone, not in front of a bunch of other people close up, and I can speak and do and things in ways that up close and personal in my life, very difficult and very hard for me to do. And so as it relates, many of my follies, many of the things that I would have that could happen to just anyone, on top of those types of things, like I said, are things that affect me mentally. My brain, like I said, disorders and, issues, like I said, major depression, major anxiety, and ADHD. These are things that, it's like, trust me, I have had friends and people like, just get over it, or, just, think positive and think good things will happen. I have done those things. And, sometimes they work in parts, and most of the times they really didn't, because at the core, there's who I am as opposed to what I'm doing. And like I said, it's not to say that if you don't have those conditions, you don't have problems. You can. But I'll probably go a little bit more into my experiences as far as in other fields later on this week. But yeah, until next time, take care.